So the sixth episode of What If came out today. We're now 2/3 of the way through the entire season, so that's cool. And this one was entitled What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark? I really liked this premise, and I liked this episode overall. I found it slightly better than the Captain Carter episode, because I think this one has a cooler premise. While the Captain Carter one was just very simplistic in nature, and this one was just a really cool idea of, like, what if Killmonger, like, was manipulating Tony Stark and Wakanda to get what he wanted. So, yeah, I liked it. Let's start with some negative stuff first. I hate the new voice that they got for Pepper Potts. Like, no offense to the voice actress, but I just absolutely hated the voice that they had Pepper Potts use. It's terrible. It's awful. I hated it. It just got on my nerves for some reason. And then just Pepper in general as a character just really annoyed me, because, like, every line that she had felt so unnatural. Like, when she was talking to Shuri at the end, she was like, "Oh, he killed Tony? I knew it. And your brother? How did you get this? I'm so invested." And I don't know, I didn't like it. Speaking of Shuri, how exactly is she so smart here? Because, like, in Black Panther, on the Wikipedia page for that film, it says that Shuri is supposed to be 16. And that in and of itself doesn't make any sense, because Shuri is, like, a genius and, like, really smart. Like, smarter than Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, because she knows how to work with vibranium and all that stuff. And she had more resources than them, I understand that. But she's also 16 years old. So that doesn't make sense. And it makes even less sense why she would be included in, like, the war room of Wakanda. I don't get why she, in this timeline, it would be a 6-year-old girl weighing in on these very important events. It just doesn't make sense how she's this smart, even though she's 6. She doesn't look 6. She looks 11 or 12 at most. And then, I'm not entirely sure how old T'Challa's supposed to be, because, well, Shuri looks much younger than she did in Black Panther. T'Challa looks exactly the same as he did in Black Panther. So that was weird. And then there were just a couple deliveries of some lines that I did not like. And I know that this is nitpicking, but still, they just bothered me. Like, the way Michael B. Jordan said Wakanda forever just really got on my nerves for some reason. He was like, "Wakanda forever!" And he said it twice, and each time it really annoyed me, and I'm not entirely sure why. It just really bothered me. There are just certain line deliveries and certain things that just get on my nerves, and this was absolutely one of them. That said, it's still a very good episode. I mean, if you want to talk about, like, in certain episodes, there's some inconsistency in the voice acting, because there's different people, like Pepper Potts in this very episode. Terrible voice. But the voice that they got to play Tony Stark is the same one from episode 3, who wasn't in there that often, but he does a really good impression of Tony Stark. Like, it's on point. And the writing, I mean, of course the writing is the same for Tony Stark, but it's like, this dude just sinks into the role. And I mean, you can tell that it's someone different, but honestly, I don't care, because it just works really well. And they got some returning characters, like Obadiah Stane, who we were obviously never going to see again. Ulysses Claw, one of my favorite side villains from the MCU. He's just such a delight, mainly because it's Andy Serkis. I love Andy Serkis. He is one of my favorite actors of all time. Yeah, so I really enjoyed seeing him again. I T'Chaka, that was cool to see him again. And of course, Killmonger. I've heard little rumors here and there about Killmonger maybe showing up in Wakanda Forever. Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like he had this amazing character arc, I suppose, in the first film, and it would just be so cheap if they brought him back for the sequel. Like, I don't buy that. But yeah, so and then he was roughly as compelling in here as he was in Black Panther. Not as compelling, but I don't know. But yeah, so I preferred him in Black Panther, but he was still great in this. A really cool character to follow through this episode. And I like how when this episode starts, you think that we're going to follow Tony Stark, but nope, he dies in like halfway through. And the deaths have weight in this movie, like when T'Challa dies, when Rhodey dies, when Tony dies, you felt it. I only wish Pepper had died because I hated her in this episode. Again, nitpicking. The action was great. There were some really, really cool scenes, like the one in that warehouse with Black Panther and the soldiers. So that was cool. They got basically every actor who played a Wakandan character to return. So that was cool. Like, again, it's cool to see T'Chaka again. There are some little details in this episode that I really enjoyed, like the fact that that Ramonda, T'Challa's mom, is the general of the Dora Milaje, and it's not Okoye, and that would make sense. They didn't really say if she was a part of that organization in Black Panther, but I mean, it was cool to actually see her do something. I mean, because she didn't really do much in Black Panther. I really enjoyed her in this episode. General Ross shows up yet again, and I think of the like replacement voice actors, this actor who voices General Ross is probably my favorite because he is so on point with his delivery and he's so perfect with what General Ross actually sounds like. He does an absolutely phenomenal impression of William Hurt. And I think it's cool because in this specific timeline of this episode, General Ross is in this is before the Incredible Hulk, so we're seeing him before that movie, but he's still as grumpy and cynical as he ever was. The animation is really good. I like how manipulative Killmonger is throughout this episode. Like, we never got to see a lot of that in Black Panther because his plan was very straightforward and simple, and, like, everyone knew he was a bad dude from the moment he showed up. Because, he showed up with the dead body of Ulysses Klaue, and then he friggin' murdered T'Challa, or they thought he murdered T'Challa, but here, they treat him like a member of the family, and I like that. And, like, not everybody trusts him. Again, it doesn't make sense why Shuri wouldn't trust him, because she's literally 6 years old. What is going on here? So, yeah, overall, this wasn't one of the better episodes of the show. Like, if I had to rank the episodes right now, which I will be doing once the series wraps up, I'd say it's probably my second least favorite, because I think it has a slightly more compelling premise than the Captain Carter episode, which is overall my least favorite episode of the show so far, despite the fact that I enjoyed it. So yes, this was a good episode, though not a great one. It was not really up to the quality of the previous 4 episodes that came before it. And honestly, in some ways, there are some aspects of this episode that were worse than that of the Captain Carter episode. So, yeah. Overall, it was good. I enjoyed it. But, yeah, not one of the stronger episodes so far. I think especially episodes 2 and 4 have just been super compelling. And when are we going to get to see Party Thor? Come on! So, yeah. And I assume that my guess is that the episode that takes place, it's kind of like Thor Ragnarok, that with the Grandmaster appearing and Party Thor maybe. I assume that there's going to be an Asgard-related episode for next week. But hey, what do I know? I mean, there's 3 more episodes of this show left. I'm so sad. It's going to be over soon. Who cares? This is the 2nd season. Also, just a quick note. What did y'all think of the trailer for Hawkeye? I thought it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to see Rogers the Musical. I think that's why they cast Brian Darcy James, the original actor of Shrek from Shrek the Musical. I think that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna do a musical part. Man, that's gonna be so awesome. I like musicals, so that was a ridiculous tangent. Anyway, what if episode 6 is good? Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Keep calm and watch on.